Tag und willkommen to the Total Soccer Show. My name is Daryl Grove, and I'm joined by a man who, like me, is right now 1/6 of the way through his World Cup 2019 previews.
Is that true?
It's true. His name is Taylor Rockwell. Hello.
Hello, you're right, because we haven't recorded this one yet.
Yes.
So one in the bag.
There you go. By the time people hear this, we'll be
Yes.
2/6 of the way through.
There we go.
Or a third. I did the math.
Fractions are hard.
Fractions are hard. Today, so we did Group A yesterday. If you haven't heard our Group A preview, you can go back and find that in our feed.
That wasn't yesterday,
2 days
was it?
ago,
Thank
we did
you.
Group A.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to correct you. It was just more so like we've kind of reached the point where things start to add up. We've got lots of stuff to cover. Time kind of loses all meaning, and I forget what happened yesterday.
But today is Group B. And in Group B of the Women's World Cup, you will find Germany, you will find China, you will find Spain, and you will find South Africa.
That is all
that's
accurate.
who we're previewing today. We're going to do the tactics, we're going to do the key players. I think we should put the caveat at the front that we did put at the front of Group A, that we are not women's soccer experts, but we have done our research for these previews. So we have information to share, but we don't have all the information to share.
We do not.
Is that fair?
Yes, it definitely is. It definitely is because, as we said with Group A, with some of these teams, it is difficult to find in-depth coverage.
Yeah.
It's difficult to find some coverage at all on some of the players. There's lots of Wikipedia red links for the two teams that I'm going to be discussing. I'll put it that way.
Do you think there'll be more preview information available next week? Like, do you think newspapers will start publishing a bunch of World Cup 2019 previews starting Monday, maybe?
No, I don't.
No, you don't?
I honestly don't. I think that you're going to get kind of what we've been getting. I think The Guardian have been putting out some okay ones, but I think you're going to get...
And they've leaned on people in other countries to do it as opposed to doing the research themselves.
I think you're going to get distillations of that. I think you'll get like one key player for each World Cup team and things of that nature. And then some of the bigger ones, I think you'll get more in-depth profiles on, yes.
Okay. And not to pat ourselves on the back too much, the thing I'll say for us is we have watched the footage.
We have.
Right? This isn't just like guessing at stuff. We've gone and watched these teams as much as we can and tried to figure things out. All right. Without further ado.
I flew to South Africa and watched like 6 games. Yeah.
Let's get started.
Let's do it.
With Germany.
All right.
Germany. I'm previewing Germany. World Cup winners twice over, right? 2003, 2007. Olympic champions. They won the Olympics in 2016. 9 of those players are returning. The nickname is they don't really have a nickname. It's maybe the National Elf, like the National 11, but it's kind of like with the German men's team where they don't have a fun nickname. It's just the team or the 11.
The National Elf?
Yeah, Elf is German for 11. Yeah.
Now, come on. They're the elves.
You went to
they're the
like
elves now.
elves,
Yes, they're the National Elves.
Cool. Well, what the nickname should be is the reverse Red Bulls.
Okay.
Because they absolutely do not give you wings.
I didn't really know where it was going to go. I did expect it to go that way.
So this is a tactical point.
Okay.
What the German team does is force you inside.
Okay.
So, like, you know, if, like, say, the opposition right back has the ball, often the thing will be like...
How long did you work on that?
A minute.
Okay.
Most teams will try and show you to the outside. It's more like that's away from goal. That's where that's away from danger. Germany will try and force you to the inside. The reason they do that is that they have a host of defensive midfielders. They play 4-2-3-1. They have a couple of defensive midfielders who are always there to win the ball. So they force you inside, then they take the ball off you. That's the German plan.
As a fan of the U.S. women's national team and their propensity to attack down the wings, that gives me some concern.
Right, yeah. Well, hopefully we don't have to play them.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Key to this approach, she's not one of my key players because I'm not 100% convinced she's going to start, is a defensive midfielder called Lina Magull, Magull. She'll wear number 20. I think she'll be one of the starting defensive midfielders in the 4-2-3-1. But really the thing is I've kind of taken a shine to her after watching her, and I think she's the best defensive midfielder. It might be 2 other players that start.
So why do you think she's the best one, though?
Because she's every time I see them force someone inside, I see Magull step up, win the ball, but then be very good on the ball when she's got it. She's a bit like Amandine Henry for France. You talked a lot about her, right? About how she essentially runs the French national team from defensive midfield. Like, she gets involved in the attack, but she's winning the ball as a defensive midfield. So yeah, I kind of feel like she's a little younger. She's only 24. Lina Magull is sort of the Amandine Henry of Germany.
Does she have the distribution of Amandine Henry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she does. That's why I think she's like basically almost as good, which is a big deal to have that kind of player. Right?
So from what I saw of Magull, I enjoyed her intensity.
Yes.
I enjoyed, especially for Bayern Munich, it seems like she is the one who's scrapping for every 50-50 ball. And the best way I can explain that is that every time it went out of bounds, she was the first one to point in her team's direction.
Right.
Even when she clearly knew it was not her team's ball, she's always trying to get that little competitive edge, and I enjoyed that.
Roy Keane-esque intense competitiveness, right? Yeah. Once they have the ball, because Germany, obviously they're one of the dominant teams, so they'll be winning the ball back, but they'll have the ball a lot. They're in this 4-2-3-1. And then you have this front four. I'm going to talk about the striker and the number 10 as two of my key players. But what they do is they rotate positions a lot. So rather than staying static, like the attacking three midfielders and the one striker, left and right, they will interchange positions and be all over the place, and it'll be really hard to keep track of them. One of the key reasons is that Alexandra Poppy, the main striker, she also has a history as a winger as well, so she's quite happy drifting out wide and letting other players then fill the middle.
I like that because it feels like it almost like comes about in response to the way they probably practice their defensive training. Of if you're trying to force teams from wide into the middle, then one of the ways you can maybe nullify that is by having a lot of fluidity in the way you attack, so you don't necessarily have to have a wide player who's always wide who can then easily be forced inside.
Yes.
I feel like Germany do one thing in defense, but then kind of do the thing that is set up to neutralize that defense when they attack.
And then the other thing they do is they have the fullbacks come and join in.
Oh boy.
So you've got that front four kind of rotating with a key attacking midfielder, who we'll talk about in a minute, Dzsenifer Marozsan. But then the fullbacks join late, specifically the right back, who wears number 3. Her name is, I've forgotten her name, Katrin Hendrick. Hendrick. She'll wear number 3, but she'll be the right back. Great crossing. This is of all the teams I've watched so far, Germany has the most precise crossing, often aiming for the head of Alexandra Poppy.
Okay, let's talk about her, if we could then. Is she one of your key players?
She is one of my key
players.
Right. Okay, you want to get to Poppy?
I do.
Okay, so Alexandra Poppy, she'll wear number 11. She plays for Wolfsburg. As I said, when Germany had their star strikers before, Anja Mittag, most people will remember, and Celia Sasic were the strikers. Pop had to play on the wing. It's Pop's time now because those players have retired. Okay. She is the key striker for Germany.
All right. And what is it that makes her so key, aside from being, I believe, the captain of the national team?
Yep, runs in behind, drops deep, pulls wide, just really hard to track. And then when the ball comes in, she's a target. She is winning a lot of balls in the air, either to head at goal herself or to knock it down for teammates.
I had it from what I saw of her as the German national team women's equivalent of Mario Gomez, or maybe
I think she's better.
Or Abby Wambach, maybe. Like the German Abby Wambach a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she's slightly more mobile than Abby Wambach was, but that might be me remembering Wambach in 2015 as opposed to earlier on.
My memory, even 2011, Wambach is she just likes to stay high and forward and be on the end of Rapinoe crosses, right? So I think Pop is more mobile, especially because she has that history as a winger, right? Abby Wambach never played wide for anyone that I know of.
Not that I know of. Yeah. But yeah, with Pop, I remember those moments of Abby Wambach hanging at the back post and just sort of winning a header that you didn't think she had any business winning.
Yeah.
I saw Pop doing that a lot.
Yes.
Sometimes to put it on frame, but a number of times as well, just putting it back across and completely throwing the defense into disarray that way. Like the cross ball that's headed back across for an easy tap-in, she can do that one as well.
And the wide players I mentioned will likely be Julia Gwynn, who's only 19, number 15. I think she'll play weirdly, she'll either play left wing, right wing, or possibly right back as well. But she'll be one of those wide attackers. And Svenja Hoot. Svenja Hoot will be one of the other wingers. Those will be the players sort of filling the space if Pop drifts wide. The other key player, I'm going to say possible golden ball winner. That's how good she is. Dzsenifer Marozsan. So the reason her name sounds very not German is that she was born in Hungary, but her father moved to Germany to play soccer in Germany, and so she's basically grown up in Germany, was naturalized, so she's fully German, but with a Hungarian name.
And I'm sure many people know this, but just in case you don't, the other reason why it's slightly strange is because it's DZSENIFER.
Hopefully we'll put her name in the show notes.
That would make sense.
So that people know who we're talking about. So she's a number 10. She's a creative midfielder. She plays for Lyon, which I'm coming to learn.
It's not fair.
Basically, it's like playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah. If you play for Lyon, it means you're one of the very, very best.
Yes.
Yeah, fair?
I mean, yes, except that the Harlem Globetrotters only play against one team.
The Washington Generals?
It would be like if, I'm just trying to think of a team that, I guess maybe Barcelona under Pep Guardiola, where they just kept winning everything, every competition they were in. It's a little bit like that, only even more so.
So I want to talk about why Marozsan is so very good.
Okay.
Normally a number 10 you think of as dribbly, low center of gravity, going past people. I think Marozsan's genius is her first time passing. The thing I see from her is she receives the ball, and with either 1 or 2 touches, she will play a pass that either completely changes the direction of play, or is like a through ball to take people out, or is like a layoff to someone else to take a strike. And she just seems to do this consistently in a way that, like, you think there's not a pass on, and she will find something that no one else saw, and she will find a way to make it happen. And there are moments of skill. There are like drag backs and like Cruyff turns and back heels and this and that, but it's not a Tobin Heath freestyling flary kind of thing. It's more to use a very German thing, it's more efficient.
I mean, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I was trying to find a way not to say that.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that I feel like she consistently makes the complicated look easy.
Yes.
And I think she does that because she doesn't make the complicated complicated.
Yes.
So, like, and I guess what I mean by that is that you'll see her make simple, smart passes, basic passes. You'll see her make like high rating of difficulty passing as well, and long balls over the top. But then there's other little moments. Like I saw one of the goals she scored. I forget who squared it for her, but like it was just this sort of like outside of the foot finish from like 6 yards out into an open goal. But it's almost a just like casual no look, like, oh yeah, I'm just going to put it in the goal and then trot over to give you a high five, like, which shows you how often Lyon are scoring. But it also shows you that she just sort of has that confidence in her ability that a move that should be sort of difficult and require a little bit more attention, she can just kind of pull off and continue on her way.
So my guess is that the efficiency is all about, she just needs to open up a little bit of space, and then she can sort of execute the thing that she's seen with her vision. She can make that happen if you just give her a tiny bit of space. The other thing to know about Dzsenifer Marozsan, she can cross a ball as well.
Yeah,
part of this German theme of accurate technical crossing, or just accurate crossing, involves Marozsan. She's the central attacking midfielder, but again, that front four that she's part of rotate all around. So she'll pop up on the right, she'll pop up on the left, and she'll be serving balls in, looking for the head of Alexandra Poppy.
I saw one. I can't remember. It might have been against France a little bit ago, but I could be wrong. But I saw one where she gets the ball. She sort of center left, turns and plays it all the way wide onto the right channel, and then follows her cross and gets the drop back, and then crosses it into the box for a header that I think ends up being saved for a corner. But it's just that, like, she crosses from one side, then gets the ball and crosses into an attacking position. She's, again, all over the place, but makes it look easy.
So this is why I think possible golden ball winner.
Okay.
This really could be her tournament. I also think this could be Germany's tournament. I think they should be, because I know they're not at home, but they're in the country next door, right? Yes. So there's a good chance that they are like one. I mean, I think they're one of the favourites for this tournament. Okay. Couple of concerns though.
I'm borderline, like, there's a lot of like jokes up there in my head, but I will avoid them about Germans playing in France.
I deliberately did not reference those.
There we go. Okay.
Deliberately did not reference those. Here's one concern for Germany. Weirdly, it's the goalkeeper, Almut Schult.
Okay.
Almut Schult. She's been the goalkeeper for a long time. She's the established goalkeeper, but she had measles in February. Right, so she's back from that. But from what I've read,
that's not good.
And from what I've seen, she's not quite as good as she was before the measles, right? So it takes it out of you, right? It's a serious disease. So I watched a game against Japan. They tied 2-2 with Japan, 2-2. Both Japan goals were Schult mishitting passes, playing it directly to Japanese attackers. Both of the goals came from that. So I don't know if this is a problem just with the distribution or just concentration, or just maybe she is suddenly has this weird like occasional error in her. But I would keep an eye on Almut Schult just because she is the trusted goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But maybe because of recent illnesses, maybe she's not quite as good as she was. A little bit like how Germany in 2018 took Manuel Neuer to the World Cup after just coming back from fitness, and in the end, it maybe turned out to be a mistake.
Yeah, so we'll see if she. So keep an eye on if she makes a mistake, or even if maybe we don't see her play every game in the tournament because maybe they try to do something a little bit differently. So a good thing to keep an eye on.
One extra thing I want to talk about is the coach.
Oh yeah,
Martina Voss Tecklenburg. She's a former German national team player. She was the Swiss coach at the 2015 World Cup. The German Federation wanted her, but she had to see out her contract, so she didn't take over till November 2018. So she only had a few months in charge. But from what I've seen...
Commiserations to the German coach before her?
I guess so, yeah. From what I've seen, it's working. I just want to point out that basically I really like her because she's one of those coaches that prowls the technical area, yelling instructions and encouragement at her players for the entire game.
All right.
Martina Voss Tecklenburg.
But the goalkeeper's name was?
Almut Schult.
And I do wonder, though, if she continues to have those mistakes, if the coach coming in so late into kind of or in relation to the World Cup starting, I do wonder if maybe she has less sympathy as a result, and maybe it is hey, you made a couple mistakes, we're going to have to go with somebody else.
So far, not dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, and the first game for Germany is against China, right, which is kind of a challenge, but it's not like playing one of the favourites. So
we'll see.
I mean, you'll know more than me because you'll be previewing them very soon. I think they're up next.
Yes,
right?
They are.
All right, final thing I want to talk about, unless you've got any more questions, is just a quick mention of the domestic league, because we see that as a measure of the strength of women's soccer. The Frauen Bundesliga has been around since 1990.
All right.
There are 12 teams. There are players on the roster. It's the most players on the roster are from Wolfsburg and Bayern Munich, because those are the two dominant teams. They have 4 players each on the roster. But then there's a good spread of the other German teams. Frankfurt, Essen, Turbine Potsdam and Freiburg all have a couple players each, plus, obviously, a couple of players at Lyon.
Yes, of course.
Oh, and one at PSG. So the only sort of non-German-based players are the 3 who are in France.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense to
me.
There you
go.
That makes sense to me. All right, so we're going to talk about their first opponents, China, in a moment. But first, we're going to talk about today's sponsor, Away Days.
Yes, Away Days football are back. Away Days is an independent clothing brand based in Boston. They have all kinds of great Away Days branded clothing, T-shirts, beanies, hoodies, all that stuff. They also are the purveyors of the famous mystery kit. Taylor, tell me all about the mystery kit. I love hearing it every time.
Sure. It features smaller clubs from many countries. You pick your size, you receive a mystery kit, 100% authentic and brand new. So not pre-worn, that's good.
Yeah.
Not kind of knockoffs that are the approximation of the jersey. It's the official jersey
like you buy in tourist towns.
of a mystery team. Exactly.
The official jersey of a mystery team. But worth pointing out, the $25 mystery kit can be from any season, right? So you could get the Besiktas kit.
Yep.
It could be from 2015, right? I kind of like that because it's part of what makes it cool to me. But Away Days have introduced the 2018-19 collection.
Yes. I want to add really quickly before we do that, though.
Yeah.
It is the case that, sometimes when you're then looking at the, any jersey from the past from this team that can sort of coincide with the jerseys that didn't sell out, which were therefore the unpopular jerseys. All of the jerseys that I have seen our listeners get, the ones that we have gotten, they're all very nice looking. They're all, none of them are, clearly the ugly one that no one wanted, so there was a huge stockpile remaining.
Have you seen the Wolves one from the 90s? It's got, tire marks all over it?
Oh, boy.
It was very unpopular.
All right. Yeah, that is not there.
That's not on there.
No, just
That's not on there.
the nice Wolves ones, if they have Wolves ones at all.
Maybe Wolves are too big now to be part of the regular mystery kit.
Easy.
It's not true, is it?
I mean, 7th in the Premier League.
So the regular mystery kit is $25.
Yep.
It's exciting to see what comes in the mail. The 2018-19 mystery kit collection is $40. Same sort of deal, except it's guaranteed to be from the current season, and it might be a bigger team. You can leave a note saying, if you're an Arsenal fan, you can definitely leave a note saying, do not send me a Spurs kit.
Yes.
Right?
I do appreciate that, because that would be kind of a bummer.
Yes, you can make certain requests. I wouldn't request a specific team, though. I really would leave it up to Away Days to send you a mystery kit, because that's part of the fun.
Yeah, and then knowing that the jerseys won't burn, you can then be that fan who tries to set the jersey on fire in protest, and then it doesn't work and you look foolish.
So it's awaydaysfootball.com is the URL. The link will be in the show notes. It's also on our website. For 15% off.
15.
You use the discount code TSS.
There it is.
TSS for 15% off.
That's awaydaysfootball.com for 15% off with the code TSS. Thank you very much to Away Days for sponsoring today's episode of The Total Soccer Show.
All right, Taylor, tell me all about China.
I shall do so by telling you, first of all, that their nickname is the Steel Roses, though the Guardian says it's the Iron Roses. Everywhere else I've seen it reported, it's the Steel Roses.
Those are two different metals.
That might just be a translation issue. But that doesn't matter, because I've got their better nickname. At least for me, it's the better nickname. It's the Enigmas. They probably won't think that's better than the Steel Roses. But yes, it's the Enigmas.
An Enigma is something that you can't quite figure out.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, because there's lots of changes to this team, and I'm unsure of their quality due to the domestic league as well. And I'm kind of unsure of their roster, because they made some changes last minute that I did not see coming.
Okay, some switcheroos.
Yeah, for example, Lina Yang, who's a player that I thought was going to be very key for them in midfield. She started most of their recent games. She looked good from the footage that I had seen. I was all prepared to talk about her. She was dropped from the World Cup squad. I think they had announced a 27-person roster. pruned down to 23. She's not there. So there's a few players like that. And then, as I said, the domestic league is sort of in a state of change right now.
Full of money? Because remember, like, even from the last couple of previews, we saw a lot of players ended up playing in China because money was thrown at them.
Yes and no is the answer. That basically it's a league that has been kind of struggling to kick off, struggling to kind of get to that next level. And that's kind of representative of the Chinese women's national team, that we think of them as being this powerhouse team that's kind of more so rooted in the past, especially in 1999.
Yeah, that's why I think of them as really good, is because they were the competitor to the US in 99.
Yeah, and so they've been struggling a little bit. But
20 years ago.
There is money coming into the league, a lot of it coming from what I understand, corporations are starting to put more money behind certain teams. So I think that's why we are starting to see the influx of foreign players.
Yeah.
The biggest team...
Which doesn't necessarily help the domestic team.
No, not so much. The biggest one would be Dalian Quanjian. Again, pronunciation, I apologize.
Yeah,
they've won the last 3 seasons. 4 of their players are on this roster. They hired away PSG's manager to come and manage in China. They had players like Asisata Schwola, Isabel Herlovsen. They all played for them in the past. Not so much anymore. But I think Asisata is still there. Herlovsen is obviously not. But it's a small team, 8 teams. The bottom team is relegated. Here's an example of kind of where the league is. The bottom team this year that was relegated, Heavy China Fortune. We know them from the men's side. 0 wins, 0 draws, 14 losses, 4 goals for, 74 against.
All right. But I'm interested. Why are you telling me so much about the domestic league?
Because that's part of what we're talking about when it comes to the previews.
Right.
So I guess and also because you asked about it, I do believe is why we're talking about it.
That's fair.
But it goes back to my point of so it seems like they're like Dalian Quanjing is a very strong team, but I don't know if that's because the league is so weak or because they're playing very good soccer or a combination of the two. So that's kind of what makes it difficult to me. I compare it to like in France with the women's side where you have Lyon who are incredibly dominant, but there are other teams in there who are not equally strong, but still very, very strong. I don't know if the kind of second-tier teams in China are quite that strong.
Okay.
So again, it informs why I'm less confident about the team. I'm also not as confident because their run of form currently is not ideal.
The national team.
Yeah, they lost all 3 matches at the 2019 Algarve Cup. 3-1 to Norway, 1-0 to Denmark, 1-1 to Netherlands, losing on penalties. So against European opposition, not quite as strong. Doing better against AFC competition. But so there's just these little things that sort of, while I think China will be a strong team and a good team, I don't know if they're going to be that kind of Chinese team that pushes on to the next level to get to a level where they've been before, like, say, 1999.
So we're talking mid-tier in this competition, basically?
Yes, I think so. And I think part of that is because of their style of play. I think we're going to see them in something approximating a 4-4-2 with an emphasis on defensive solidity and then, kind of key attacking players running the show. I equate it with what we talked about with Egypt. If Mohamed Salah had been healthy at the 2018 World Cup, it was going to be very defensive and then looking for their 2
Give the ball to Mo.
Exactly. Their 2 key attacking players to hopefully make something happen.
Yeah.
The rest of the time we're going to kind of sit back and defend. That's what I would expect.
So that's what China's going to do.
Yes.
And they also wear red.
And they also wear red. It's perfect. It's perfect.
So who are those key attacking players?
Sure.
Right?
You've got 2 different ones. I'm going to start with Wang Shanshan, 29-year-old forward for Tianjin Hussein. Top scorer at the 2018 Asian Games, partially because she scored 9 against Tajikistan.
Yes.
So there's that.
I'll say, in researching her, I watched all 9 goals. I don't feel like I learned anything about her because there's a lot of tap-ins and Tajikistan made it too easy, basically.
That's why you go watch her put 3 past Thailand, which she did. She did that in the Asian Games quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And that helped me kind of better understand her. And I'm sure she would not love this classification, but I would say she's the less graceful of the 2 attackers, but more China's...
She trips over her own feet?
No, more so she's kind of the battering ram when it comes to attacking options. It's a lot of flick-ons for her partner, Wang Shuang, who is the other one I want to talk about. But it's flick-ons, hold-up play, aggressive running and tackling. She seems to very much enjoy 50-50 challenges, especially aerial challenges. So she's sort of the one who I think they'll look to if it is China kind of sitting deep and looking long. I think they're looking for her head to flick on to her kind of attacking compatriot, or to hold up to link with her attacking compatriot.
So it's Wang Shanshan and Wang Shuang.
Yes, exactly. Wang Shuang is a 24-year-old midfielder for PSG. She's the only player in this China team who plays outside of China for PSG. 6 goals, 49 appearances for China, 18 appearances, 7 goals from midfield for PSG this past season in a half a season. So that's a good result for her. And she plays in a sort of free-floating role for them for PSG. I think they go with like a 3-4-1-2. She's that one. She's kind of allowed to drift around and do what she wants, and that's basically what she'll do for China as well. She's sort of given free rein to roam around to do defensive work if she wants to, but if she wants to kind of stay up top a little bit more, also that's fine.
What I saw of her, because I watched some highlights, when she's on the ball, she seems very like improvisy.
Yes.
She'll just figure her way out of situations.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's fair. And I think part of that is because from what I saw, I found her to be very good at finding space between the lines so that she tends to get the ball
between the defensive line and the midfield line.
Exactly. Yeah. But then because she can do that, she then sort of puts herself in an advantageous position when it comes to attacking, because if you get that ball in space and you can turn, now either you're going at the defense with a full head of steam without pressure immediately on you, or you have a defender trying to step out, but then they're sort of making a not necessarily calculated defensive play, but more a kind of panicky defensive play, and that's what you want if you're an attacker who can figure things out. And so I think that's where it kind of suits her game a little bit more.
So you said probably 4-4-2. I know it's hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
Probably 4-4-2, but is it the two forwards will be Wang and Wang?
That would be my guess, yes.
And it'll be Wang Shanshan battering ram, maybe flicking on, and Wang Shuang doing more of the creative, more aesthetically pleasing stuff.
I think so. But I will say that Wang Shuang, who can score her goals herself, but I don't see her look to shoot first. That doesn't seem to be a thing she's trying to do. Like, she gets the ball between the lines, she turns and has a crack. Not so much. It seems to be that she's trying to pull people out of positions to then play balls through. Now, that might be more of a thing she does at club level than for the national team.
Yeah, because it's probably that thing of, like, you're one of the good PSG players, but, like, you go to China. From what I can tell, she's probably the best player on the team.
Yes, I would say so.
A little bit like G for China. For Korea.
Yes.
That maybe she's too good for her teammates.
Yeah, I think there's a chance. We shall find out. She also takes all their set pieces and corners for PSG and for China. So look for her to be a little bit deadly on corners and even more deadly on free kicks.
Okay.
But my final thing I wanted to mention with China is sort of like why I again say they're the enigmas, is that the Guardian profile talks all about how manager Jie Zhuquan, 55-year-old, mostly from the men's side, he's been in charge since 2018 of the China women's national team, but like that profile talked about how he kind of had dropped Zhang Rui, who was their most experienced defensive midfielder. She's in this squad. The Guardian profile talked about how she had been excluded. She wasn't going to be a part of this team. She's in this team, and I would expect her to start as one of their holding midfielders. So that's where I'm sort of confused, because different sources are saying different things about who's in and who's out and who's in favor and who's not and who's in form and who's not. From what I could tell, I would say Wang and Wang will be your two strikers.
Yep.
I would say Zhang Rui will be your kind of defensive midfielder. I would guess partnered by a more up-and-coming midfielder named Tan Ruin. I would say that's going to be your midfield combination and the players that will probably be involved in the attack.
I'm not asking you to predict a score, but how do you think they match up to a team like Germany, who are, like I was arguing is one of the favourites in the competition? Like, are they going to just hold on for dear life and try and get something on the counter kind of thing?
That would be my guess, yes.
And they're not like confident enough to be like, we're as good as Germany, let's go toe-to-toe with them.
Certainly not that, but I think your classification is even more accurate, because I also, based on what I've read and what I have watched, I also think that you're not necessarily looking at a team that are ultra defensively disciplined and then can counterattack. I think you will have vulnerabilities, because there are some question marks about who starts where. Peng Ximeng is their 21-year-old goalkeeper, but she has not been their goalkeeper until this year. It's been a more veteran goalkeeper, it was like 26 or 27, and so Peng kind of comes in and is starting now. But again, to me, that speaks to you don't have this sort of solidified like 4 defenders with a holding midfielder in front that you are confident is going to be there and a confident goalkeeper. It's sort of like maybe this is who they're going to trot out, and I think they're going to be really defensive, but I don't know if that necessarily lends itself to they're going to be super disciplined and organized and then look to break on the counter. I think it will be more so hold on for dear life and then look to break on the counter.
So we'll really, because their first game is against Germany, right? On the second day of the tournament, June 8th. So we'll really find out if this Chinese team's any good when they face Pop and Marozsan and co.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I should clarify, they may be very well adept at doing just that, and they may frustrate Germany, and I think they will take a a slight loss to Germany because I think they probably back themselves certainly against South Africa, and then I think maybe they're looking to that game against Spain as the one that they're going to want to really
probably the
put
game
on
for
the
second
line.
place,
Yep.
right? That's probably based on our research.
That would be my guess. Yes.
Do you want to hear about Spain now?
I do want to hear about Spain, please.
Okay. Spain is on the rise, right? Spain is on the rise. This is only their second ever World Cup, right? Their first one was 2015. They did not get out of the group. So I think the target for Spain this tournament is get out of the group. That would be like a historic achievement, and it will be sort of a just reward for the work that's been put in over the last few years, right? The other thing to know about Spain is their U17s last year won the U17 World Cup.
Okay.
Their U20s last year came runners-up at the U20 World Cup.
All right.
So Spain is on the rise.
I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there on the men's side. The team that did that at last World Cup made it to the final.
All right.
That was England.
And a couple of those players from the U20s are on this roster, but it's not like that generation is quite yet in the Spanish first team. Basically, I'm saying there are more players coming through after this tournament, so it looks good for Spain going forward.
That's telling because from what I saw, it seems like it looks good for Spain right now.
I think, my take is they're not Germany, they're not France, they're not England, they're not the US, but they're maybe like top of the second tier.
I like that you snuck England in there, but sure.
Semi-finalists last time round. She Believes Cup winners, I believe.
I believe you're correct.
Yeah. Okay, so the Spanish nickname is, predictably...
La Roja?
La Roja.
La Furia Roja?
Just La Roja,
okay.
the red one, whatever. But it should be Atletico Barcelona. Because...
That's a great name, and I agree.
From this 23, 5 players play for Atletico Madrid, 10 players play for Barcelona. And when you see them play, they play a very Barcelona-ish style. I'm talking about the Barcelona sort of almost Dutch-influenced Cruyff type style, which means 4-3-3, one pivot. The pivot will be Silvia Meseguer. So you have one pivot. She can be one of my key players to talk about. Then you have a centre forward and 2 wide attackers. And then when you have the ball, those wide attackers pull wide, the fullbacks pull wide, and you stretch teams out. A bit Berhaltery because he's influenced by the Dutch as well. And then there's going to be a little bit of pressing, but a lot of counter-pressing. So when Spain lose the ball, they try and win it back straight away. All this sounds very familiar, right? It's all in the Barcelona style. And the style, I'm guessing, comes from the coach.
Yeah.
Jorge Vilda, maybe George Vilda because he's Barcelona-ish. He took over after the last World Cup because it was considered a failure not to get out of the group at 2015 World Cup. He cut his teeth. So he was a young professional at Barcelona. That's where he came through. Then he cut his teeth. His entire managerial experience is assistant coaching and then head coaching various Spanish women's youth national teams since 2009. So this generation of players that are the senior team right now, a lot of them will have worked with him in the past. There's a lot of player and coach familiarity going on there, which I think is always a good thing.
And that you have players from those teams or that generation involved in this team is a good indicator. If it was like he's managed at these levels and the players that should be there from those levels are not there.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's not good.
So, you want to hear about key players?
I do, but I wanted to ask you one quick question, which maybe factors into key players. So when you're talking about kind of the style that they are playing, that definitely necessitates very good technical on-the-ball ability. Do you feel like Spain has that technical ability across the team to kind of back that up?
Yes. The footage I've seen of them, everyone looks technically sound. Everyone can play those quick, short passes, but not in a devastating Barcelona 2009 kind of way, right? It's still like when that comes up against, say, the US, right? Did they play the US in January? Played really well, lost 1-0.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's there, but it's not there to a devastating level. But it does make them enjoyable to watch. Because I'm glad that there's a team that's really trying to play soccer what some would consider the right way, or at least an enjoyable way. A pleasant to watch kind of way. Fair?
Fair, indeed.
All right. Key players. The player I really want to talk about, and the player you'll probably hear the most about, is Dzsenifer Hermoso, a.k.a. Jenni. And I'm taking this from Spanish commentators. They seem to go by a lot of first names, nickname stuff. So Dzsenifer Hermoso, a.k.a. Jenni, is the number 10 centre forward. She'll move around a bit because the front three in that sort of system rotate a bit. But she's basically the centre forward. This striker has the best posture when finishing of any player I have ever seen. You saw the footage, right?
I think I'm willing to go with you. I hesitate on best ever, but I'm with you that
name me one better.
But it's also a lot of within the posture. It's a lot of still gesturing. It's a lot of pointing and directing traffic, but also kind of indicating where the ball should be or where the ball's going to go. I enjoyed that immensely.
And the reason I think it's important, this isn't just an aesthetic thing. I feel
like Dimitar Berbatov is up there for me in posture.
That's interesting.
That's the one that comes to mind.
He's maybe a good parallel because what I think of with her posture her is everything looks super calm. Because you've seen players who panic, they do get hunched over, right?
I have in my notes for her, there's an air of inevitability.
Yes. So I'm talking like perfectly straight back, like head up, and then she'll be like facing the wrong direction, but just side-footing a volley in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it just looks effortless.
Can I give you my best way I can explain this?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to bring up painful memories because it goes back to, I think, England losing to Germany. But that goal that happens where, like, the forward, like, goes in and then squares it and you can't see the other forward who's clearly on rushing to just crush the ball into the back of the net, and it's coming, but you don't know necessarily, and then the forward is there and scores. That is Jenni. Because I kept, to your point, like, I just kept seeing this, like, she's got the ball. I was like, oh, she's going to score. And even when her back was to goal, there was just this air of inevitability about, like, she's going to turn and she's going to hit this perfectly. She did. It's top corner.
Yes. She also perfectly represents his squad because she spent a long time at Barcelona and she now plays for Atletico Madrid.
There we go. Perfect.
It's worth thinking, when you think about the front three, I don't know exactly who it's going to be. It's definitely going to be Jenni, Hermoso, number 10. It's probably Amanda San Pedro will be on the right. She'll wear number 19. You'll see her because she has sort of short hair on the side, longish hair on the top, but she pushes it all up and bleaches it.
There we go.
So she's really like an eye-catching player in that way. And then she's very dribbly, lots of skills.
When you say pushes it all up, are we talking like 80s mohawk here? Or do you just mean like it sort of just sits on the top of the head?
Like just pushed up like this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like hair straight up almost.
Okay.
Not like solidly straight up like mohawk. It's a little messier than that. But it sort of is an indicator of her sort of impactful, flary kind of style. Lots of skills coming down the right.
If we get like a full-on punk rock mohawk, I'm in. Okay. I'm down for whatever team that is.
She may do it special for the World Cup.
All right, let's see.
On the left, I think it'll be Mariona Caldenti. She'll wear number 9. But so you'll have this front three of Jenni central, San Pedro on the right, Caldenti on the left. I think they may mix it up a little bit.
All right, and then they've got Mesi in the middle.
Sort of. Yeah. Silvia Meseguer. Do people call her Mesi?
That's what I saw on Y-Scout. That was what she was listed as there. Was like Mesi highlights, Mesi goals, all that stuff.
So she's not a Messi style player. If I'm going to compare her to a player that people know, it's probably because of this Barcelona style. Her position is like a Sergio Busquets type thing. She is the pivot. She's the deepest midfielder. For the Spanish national team, she is the one who's always showing for the ball, like the centre-backs give the ball to her.
Yeah.
Crucially, she's not sitting between them when she receives it. She's already in midfield.
Yeah, that's where I would say, like, I'm assuming that her nickname is more so related to her last name being Meseguer than it is her, like, being the incarnation of Mesi.
Yeah.
But I do think there are some similarities in the sense that the times that I did see her get the ball, I saw her get the ball a lot because she seems to be the one who wants the ball. You can kind of see her demanding it. There was one where, like, her teammate kind of took a little bit of a heavy touch at club level, and she just swooped in and took the ball and went with it.
A lot of interceptions as well, and recoveries like that.
Yeah, but from her own teammate, like, you could tell she was the one that's like, no, give me the ball. I'm going to make things happen.
Yeah.
And, like, you kind of want that in that midfield engine. And I saw a lot of confident dribbling and confident decision-making from her.
So what kind of mesmerised me about Silvia Meseguer is it's a lot of simple passes, just rotating the ball, rotating the ball. But then suddenly she'll nutmeg someone and all the space will open up. She'll just create space with or a cut or a move or something, because it's almost like people aren't expecting it because they've got used to her just metronomically keep passing it around. You know what I mean? So suddenly she'll make a burst happen. Yeah. So Silvia Meseguer, the pivot, number 15, definitely a player to watch.
And I'm going to assume that you are as excited as I am to see Germany and Spain play each other, because that feels like it could be a contrast of styles, or it could be like two similar styles going up against each other, and kind of the variations and improvisations that will be
think of the idea of
necessitated.
Germany trying to force Spain inside, but then Spain have players like Meseguer who can rotate the ball, right? They've got other players like Putellas who will maybe be like the left centre mid who can also rotate the ball. It'll be hard to take the ball off them, right? So that should be exciting.
All right, I'm pumped for that. I'm pumped to hear more about their league as well, if you don't mind, because we've mentioned two.
I've got an extra thing to tell you before we get to the league, though. Based on some of the research you did for the Top Draw Soccer Show when you went through the 10 young players to watch.
Yes.
Spain do have a couple of the youngsters from that U20 team who have made this roster. They probably won't start, but they're worth keeping an eye on when they come on. Patricia Guijarro, who I believe you nicknamed the Cobra.
Did I?
Yes.
All right.
For her sort of shots from distance that you don't see coming.
All right.
So Patricia Guijarro, she's 21 now.
Again, time is lost on meaning.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. This only a week ago, right? She won the Golden Ball and the Golden Boot at last year's Under-20 World Cup, where Spain finished runners-up.
That's not bad.
So she's not going to start for the Spain team, but when she comes off the bench, it's worth knowing she's the Golden Ball winner and the Golden Boot winner from the last U20 World Cup, right? So keep an eye on Patricia Guijarro and Aitana Bonmati, number 18, only 21. Lots of quick turns. I've got a feeling, I haven't seen this written anywhere, I think she might be a huge fan of Johan Cruyff. Lots of Cruyff turns. I've seen her wearing number 14 a lot. She's not in this tournament. She's wearing number 18, but I've seen her wearing number 14 in a way that's like, I want to be Johan Cruyff. So lots of like nice turns, acceleration, and clever through balls.
Now she's Cruyff, but just 4 better.
There we go. Yeah, so that's Aitana Bonmati. You want to hear about La Liga Femenino?
I do, because I hear a lot about Barcelona and hearing a lot about Atleti, and I'm assuming that is not a coincidence.
It is not. Bilbao are okay as well, but Atletico have won the league the last 3 years in a row. I think Barcelona won it a bunch before that. Barca made the Champions League final this year where they lost to Lyon. Yeah, La Liga Femenino, been around since 98, 16 teams in the Primera División, 32 teams in the Segunda. None of those teams is called Real Madrid.
That's interesting and surprising.
There's a rumor that because they're sort
of... And I mean it interesting in the way my wife means it when she says interesting, which means it's bad.
Means you're in trouble.
Yes. Yeah. It's very interesting, Madrid. It's interesting.
So apparently they're going to sort of reformat this a little bit, where you have to have a license with the federation to run a team in La Liga Femenino next year. And apparently Real Madrid might be getting in on it next season. So far, no Real Madrid. And the way I think of this is, in every crisis, there's an opportunity, right? If you think of this roster is made up mostly of Barcelona and Atletico Madrid players, because those are the teams that have invested resources, like basically from the club, those clubs that have a lot of money, so they invest. Once Real Madrid gets in the game, that's a whole lot of if they do it seriously, that's a whole lot of extra investment in Spanish football.
Yes.
Right? Once they don't have to pay Gareth Bale's wages, it's a whole lot of extra investment in Spanish football that could happen.
Yeah, they're focused on that right now. We'll see if they get into it later.
Yeah.
All right. Any other points on Spain?
No, I think I made a lot of points on Spain.
All right, then we should probably finish up this group then. But first, we should talk about today's sponsor.
Yes, it's FBref.com. It's a football reference website. These people are experienced doing stats with basketball, baseball, all that stuff. Now they're in the soccer game, and specifically, they're in the men's soccer game as well, but they're in the women's soccer game. They now have full rosters for all the World Cup teams. You can see the stats on all the players.
You can, which I appreciate, because for me, coming up when we talk about South Africa, I enjoyed being able to figure out or being able to see how many minutes each of their players have played for the South African national team.
Yes.
It does give you an indicator of like, okay, this player has a bunch of caps, but they have significantly fewer minutes than this player who has fewer caps. You kind of know one of them is playing whole games, one of them is only making substitute
minutes are
appearances.
more important than caps, right?
That is definitely the case.
Yeah.
But then it also helps you, because they've got also individual breakdowns of specific seasons. Not all seasons, because there are many leagues.
Yeah.
But for example,
it's all being added, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
But for one of the players I'm going to be talking about for South Africa, when she played for Houston, she had 16 appearances and her goal scoring ratio was not very good. It was only 0.48, 0.48 per game. So you look at that and you're like, oh,
that's a goal every other game almost.
It is, but then, so you're right, it's fine. But then you look at it within the context of her goals plus assist rate, that is at 1.2.
Okay.
So now she's getting sort of some sort of statistical point every single game.
That means you start her, there's going to be a goal.
Exactly. So again, it helps you kind of see that, like, okay, so she can do both, and either way she makes her team better. That's the type of information you need.
So as well as just going to fbref.com and looking at all the soccer stats, there's also a newsletter you can sign up for. I did so, and I got the first one. I got sent a Group A preview.
Oh, really?
The first StatHead email that I received.
How did we do?
One of the, it doesn't contradict anything we said.
Okay.
So that's good.
They weren't like, here's what Total Soccer Show got wrong in our newsletter.
No.
We're sponsoring them to troll.
They actually had some good trivia style stats. So talking about France hosting in Group A.
Are you going to quiz me right now?
No, I'm not going to quiz you. I'm just going to tell you some stats.
Okay.
Every host country, every team that's hosted the World Cup has made it at least as far as the quarterfinal.
True.
USA is the only host country to win it.
True.
Yeah,
I am nailing this trivia. All right.
But it's just worth noting that there's not a long history of teams hosting and winning the World Cup, so it's not. We shouldn't maybe put so much stock in France hosting like they're going to win it.
Okay,
fair.
I'm still going to though.
Yeah, okay. Also in the email, a list of Women's World Cup all-time top scorers.
True.
Do you want me to quiz you, or do you want me?
No, I'm just enjoying getting every answer right.
If you don't want me to quiz you, stop saying true.
Okay.
Okay.
True.
The all-time top scorer at the Women's World Cup is still active. It's Marta.
Of course.
With 15.
Of course.
Marta has 15 goals already, and she's playing again for Brazil in this tournament, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. No, the face I'm making is somebody is not far off because I was surprised that they hadn't surpassed it. Is Alex Morgan on that list? Okay.
Nope. Bridget Prince and Abby Wambach are second with 14.
Okay.
There's a few more after that. The only other active player who was on at least as far down as the stats went only has 9 goals. It's Christine Sinclair with Canada. She needs a double hat trick to catch Marta.
I definitely thought somebody had 12, but I must be mistaken. My apologies.
Not an active player according to the list I got from FBref.com in their newsletter.
I take it back and I apologize. And see, this is what happens when I say true the whole time. I end up being false. But FBref is not false. They've got all the information you need, all the stats you need. So go to FBref.com. And as Daryl indicated, you can sign up for their newsletter.
I recommend it. It's in the nav bar.
The FBref newsletter link in the bar at the top of the page.
Ready for some more World Cup previewing?
I am, and I think it's my turn, which I think means it's South Africa.
It is.
I think so. I said a lot of thinking in there.
So I don't know a lot about South Africa, but I'm going to guess, because I haven't heard of many of their players, that they're in trouble in this group.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
On both accounts. You have not heard of many of the players in this team, and they probably are in trouble, yes. So South Africa, nickname Banyana Banyana, which is, I believe, Zulu for the girls.
Oh, so like Bafana, the boys.
There you go.
Yes. I like it. That's my favourite nickname so far.
And my TSS nickname, bear with me here, it's either the second stories or the third floors, and I think I'm going to make it the third floors. Okay. Because while while women's soccer in South Africa is not necessarily at its infancy, it's definitely not at the ground level right now. So they're past the ground level, but they're sort of in above that, but not quite to the next level. So that's why I have them at the third story, because they've gone from establishing their program in the early 90s to then starting to qualify for things. They qualified for the Olympics in 2012 and 2016. This is the first time they've been at a World Cup, though. So I'm saying the Olympic qualification in 2012, that was the second story.
Yep.
Now World Cup qualification, we're on to the third story.
All right.
But I would say there are other kind of competitors in this group. They're on 26-story buildings. That sort of level, I think, is where we are.
Okay.
And it's worth
noting,
not
scraping any skies.
No, and they're also not really having that much success so far at competitions outside of Africa. They've done fine at African Cup of Nations, but that's and
Nigeria always win it though, right? We learned that in Group A.
Yeah, but they've been the runners-up 5 times.
Okay, and that's interesting. Okay.
It is, but it also is sort of I've seen it painted in some corners as they were runners-up in 2018, so who knows what they're poised for this year? And it's they were runners-up the first year that they could compete in it. So they've been runners-up since 95, then 2000, 2008, 2012, 2018.
Okay.
So again, it kind of, you don't know if they really are poised to make this jump to the next level, or if they're going to kind of keep doing what they've been doing. What they've been doing lately is not winning. 9 games this year in 2019, 0 wins, 3 draws, 6 losses, only 6 goals scored. They lost 3-0 to Finland, 2-1 to Czech Republic. Neither of those teams are going to the Women's World Cup.
Right.
So they're definitely not...
Oh, they played the US as well, right?
They did, and lost 3-0. So they are not in the strongest of positions, but I think the fact that they are going to a World Cup is sort of showing the progress that they're making at a national level.
Sorry, I might have missed this. Is this their first time?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
First ever World Cup qualification.
All right.
Because they were runners-up at the African Cup of Nations in 2018.
That's how they did it. Okay,
I believe so. Coached by Desiree Ellis, was interim manager in 2016, then became permanent manager, is also the team's longest-serving captain, has obviously retired, played in their first ever game in 1993 against Swaziland, where she scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I think she made 330 appearances for the Spurs ladies, so she's had a long career. She is no longer playing. She's going to put it on her players now to maybe see if they can kind of carry the torch. And there's a couple different players who I want to spotlight.
I'm backing her. If a ball's out of play, she's the coach that's going to
juggle,
take it on the thigh, a couple of touches, and then send it back.
Exactly. Yes. And then I want to talk about a couple different players. I'm going to spotlight 2 specifically, but there's a few in here that I think are worth noting because they're sort of representative both of South Africa, kind of where they've been as a program and where they're heading. The first one is Janine van Wyk, who's their 32-year-old captain.
They say no one's ever beaten the Van Wyk.
There it is. I knew it was coming. 11 goals in 166 appearances. but she's a defender, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
She plays for the club JVW in the top tier of South African Women's League, the Sasol League. We'll talk about that in a minute. I did not know anything about JVWFC. I looked it up. JVWFC was formed in 2013 by current South Africa women's national team captain Janine van Wyk. Yes, the player that I'm talking about.
That makes
sense. The club aims to identify, develop, and improve female players. Consisted of a mere 13 players when formed. The club has gradually grown over years to a remarkable 60 players within their setup.
I see. She set up a whole team to develop soccer in South Africa.
She did indeed. Yes. And that is sort of what the league is, from my understanding. The Sasol League. Sasol is a chemical energy company in South Africa that has put money into sort of funding and helping kind of promote women's soccer in South Africa.
Okay.
I believe right now there are 144 teams in sort of the various levels of the Sasol League that compete across 9 provinces, 2,800 players. So it's definitely, again, steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
But you still have, it seems like in this squad, a lot of players coming from universities in South Africa. I think that's where you're still getting the majority of your South African women's soccer players are playing college soccer first, then going pro, and then there's a few who are jumping to professional levels right away. Or you have players like Janine van Wyk who just start their own clubs, and that's how they do it. She will be partnered by Noko Matlou, who, here's one for you, center back, 61 goals in 152 appearances because she began her career as a striker. First South African to be named African Women's Footballer of the Year back in 2008. Ellis, their current manager, Desiree Ellis, moved her to a center back. And I'm assuming that was partially because maybe there were other attacking options for South Africa. It's assuming because Van Wyk is not necessarily the fastest defender from what I saw. I think I saw Jess McDonald blow by her in the NWSL.
So you mentioned NWSL. Janine van Wyk played for Houston Dash, right? So doesn't that mean that she's actually a pretty good player? Has no one ever beaten the Van Wyk?
No, because
I'm
pretty sure you spotted that she had been waived and that no one picked up her option.
Yeah, but she did have a couple years.
She did have a couple years, but I don't know if that necessarily a World Cup winning captain makes.
Okay.
But I think from what I saw from Van Wyk, it felt like she was the sort of organizer, the leader, calm on the ball, but I saw a lot of left to right passing, right to left passing. Whereas I feel like Noko Matlou, because she has the kind of attacking inclinations she does, she's the one who's going to play those long balls. She's the one who's kind of trying to split the lines. She's also more than happy to drive forward with the ball at her feet. So I feel like that's the kind of partnership that you'll see from the two of them, which I enjoyed watching. So I look forward to Janine van Wyk and Noko Matlou as your two defenders.
And you've seen them do a lot of defending, I guess.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
And then up top, I'm going to say it's Thembi Kgatlana is my best pronunciation of that one. Kgatlana. Again, the name will be in the show notes. She is the 2018 African Women's Footballer of the Year. It was slightly confusing to me because she has not been playing for the national team, which maybe explains why they've had such a bad run of form, but that's because she's playing in China. I think they were still playing as of last week. So now whatever cup competition she was in, I think is over,
CFA,
or at least is taking a break because she will be with South Africa for the World Cup. But I think it's been Amanda Mithandi. And I wanted to make a lot of jokes about Miss Andy from Game of Thrones, but I choose not to.
Too soon after what happened.
Indeed. Both in terms of to that character and also to that show as a whole. But anyway, it's been Amanda Mithandi, but I think it will be Thembi Kgatlana.
Can we talk about Kgatlana? Because I saw some footage and she at least will be exciting to watch.
All right. Why do you say that? I don't disagree, but what did you see that you enjoyed?
I saw a player that loves to dribble and loves to go at people.
Yep.
And she's almost not worried if she loses the ball, from what I could tell. And I think that's because, this is just my interpretation of what I saw. Maybe she's the most skillful attacking player in South Africa that she's almost given license. Just go for it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it leads to some great, great moments. Sometimes it leads to turnovers, but it leads to a lot of defenders being blown past.
That is very important to note there, yes. Because I also think that she will probably, if South Africa are going to score goals, they're going to come through Kgatlana. And I think a lot of that is going to be her blowing past defenses.
Yeah.
But then also, from what I saw of her, I've thought she was very good at not being very fast, but also being very fast with the ball at her feet. You didn't sort of see the, she's great, but then when she gets on the ball, it's kind of awkward touches or heavy touches. She was able to control really well, and I enjoyed that sometimes you'd see her get on the ball, cut across a defender, which we always love to see because it completely takes them out, and then we'd see a, well-taken shot from distance that beats the keeper, bends it around the goalie into the far netting, but also there were these sort of disguised shots that came out of nowhere when she's running at full speed that also beat the goalkeeper. So she's got that kind of versatility to her attack. She's the one who the statistics showed she scores a goal every other game, or scored a goal every other game in NWSL.
Oh, she was at Houston Dash as well.
She was as well,
right?
yes.
I guess Houston had a South African connection for a while.
They did, because they had the two that we mentioned. They also had Linda Motlhalo. Forgive me again. She was with Thembi Kgatlana in Houston. She is now with her in Beijing. So they seem to move as a package. She has also not been there.
Roommates.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Yes. She has also not been playing for South Africa as a result, but she will probably be a starter for them. Yeah. So two key attackers.
That's not great for their build-up, right? To have two of their key attackers were with their domestic team in China, so they couldn't play in the friendlies for South Africa.
It's not great.
But there'll be a camp before the tournament. They'll get familiar again.
I mean, there has been a camp. But yes, I think South Africa have one more friendly still to go. Okay. So I would imagine both of those women will start in that final friendly. One would hope, at least. And I should add, the other thing that stood out to me about Kgatlana, aside from her finishing ability and her pace, she got some good celebrations. She's got some good dances. She seems to have a variety of different dances down for when she scores goals.
So I kind of hope she scores.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do.
So we get to see one. I'll say this. If she scores, it'll be right-footed.
Yes.
She's a very right-footed player, but I kind of think maybe very right-footed players, we won't name any, could take lessons from her, because she does this thing where when I see her running at someone, she alternates between inside of the foot, outside of the foot. So even though it's all one foot, you don't know which way she's going to go. You know what I mean? She'll go inside, outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, and then, wow, where's she going?
Yeah. and I would say, even if South Africa do not get a win, I think you are looking at a team that will celebrate scoring a goal as a big step in the right direction. And that's, again, what I go back to, like the second story.
The first goal at World Cup?
Yes. And it's like, in this team, you have coached by like the first person to score in their first to get a hat trick in their first game ever.
Desiree.
You've got the first South African to win African Player of the Year, African Women's Player of the Year in Noko Matlou, who's now the defender.
Yep.
You have the reigning African Women's Footballer of the Year, who could potentially score South Africa's first ever goal at a World Cup. And so it just feels like you've got these kind of steps moving in the right direction historically in South Africa, like for this team, and kind of where they're looking to go in terms of long-term stability and success.
And their first game is against Spain, right? If it's Germany, China, then it's Spain, South Africa.
Yep.
Which I'm going to guess favours Spain.
I would say so.
Yeah. So where are South Africa going to get points? China, maybe?
I mean, again, what I'm saying is
frustrate Spain.
I mean, certainly you never go into a tournament knowing you're going to lose every game. I don't think this is a team that are thinking we're definitely going to make a deep run. You always kind of have that little bit of optimism, like maybe we put some stuff together and we surprise some people. They may well do that. But again, I think it's a team that you're going to see them, if they score that first goal, when they score, it will be a massive celebration.
Even
more
if it's
so
like
than you've
3-0 down to Spain and they score 1 in the 89th minute?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think maybe that mutes it a little bit. You're not going to see them quite go nuts. But if it's like 0-0 and they go ahead, or they pull one back and it's 1-1, I think you'll see some pretty big celebrations, yes.
All right. So, you have anything else to add?
I do not.
All right. So that was Group B.
There it is.
Germany, China, Spain, South Africa. We are a third done with our Women's World Cup previews.
Oh, boy.
And we're a third more knowledgeable than we were last week.
Let's hope so. Or at least we think we are. We think we are, sure.
Yeah. Unless everything we just said was wrong. None of these players even exist.
Actually, I sorry. With all that said, I should add one more thing about South Africa really quickly. It's just that, again, with the idea of moving in the right direction, that you've got players. I mentioned Amanda Mathandi, who is I think she's pretty young, like she might be 21. Refilo Jane, who I think, or Jane probably, if my pronunciation is anywhere close, 26 years old, already has 104 appearances for South Africa. She'll be in the middle. Kalosa Bayana will be their holding midfielder. She's 25. And then Linda Motlhalo, who I mentioned, is 20 years old. So you still have...
So you're saying youth.
You've got a lot of youth to players who aren't quite yet in their prime. So you look at this as sort of they're there, they know what it's going to be like to play in a World Cup. I'm talking about for the next Women's World Cup. If they can make it, you've got players then who will be in their prime, who've been there before, who can kind of look to build on that. And again, that's what I think they're doing, is looking to build on past successes.
And maybe win the Women's Cup of Nations.
There we go.
Maybe finally beat Nigeria in the final.
I think that's probably where their primary goal is. Yeah. I would bet that, yes.
All right. So, Group B really is previewed now.
Yes.
Yes. All right. We should be back Friday with our Group C preview.
Let's hope so.
Before we do, let's talk some scouting.
We've
got some young Americans that we've got scouting reports on from the Total Soccer Show Scouting Network.
Just a few reports to get to, starting with Colin Bish scouting Eric Williamson, 21-year-old American attacker for the Portland Timbers. Williamson was called up to the U23 national team for the combined training camp with the senior national team.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's like some of the senior national team combined with the U23 hybrid team. His call-up was most likely, due to his form in the USL Championship this year, where he currently has 2 goals and a league-leading 9 assists.
So I guess he's playing for T2, right?
Yes.
Okay, Andrew Baird is scouting Josh Perez, the 21-year-old American winger for LAFC. Andrew says Perez was also included in that pre-Gold Cup joint senior team U23 camp. Since he wasn't part of the 40-man Gold Cup provisional roster, Perez's inclusion here would indicate that he is in the plans for the upcoming U23 camp taking place in June in Salt Lake City.
Lots of camps. Lots of camps happening. Alan Bedford scouting Jonathan Lewis, 21-year-old American forward for the Colorado Rapids.
I forgot about this move.
Yep.
How's it going? I'm going to find out right now.
Scored his first goal for the Rapids against the Crew in just his second start. Lewis put the ball between Jonathan Mentz's legs and just out of the reach of Zach Steffen in the 7th of 9 minutes of first-half stoppage time. Oof. He then came on in the 63rd minute against the Union and scored the equalizer 9 minutes later off a cross from Andre Shinyashiki. Maybe, says Alan, he just needed a change of scenery or perhaps a change of coach.
Yep. Zachary Lindquist is scouting Jackson Yule, 22-year-old American midfielder for San Jose. Yule has now gone the full 90 in the past 6 games for San Jose, says Zachary. He's become a centrepiece for Almeida's midfield, opening up play and playing passes into dangerous attacking situations. Almeida has called him the best central midfield prospect in the US and wants to see him with the national team sooner rather than later.
Challenge extended. Final report of the day comes from Nick Imhoff, scouting Emmanuel Sabi, 21-year-old American attacker for Hobro. Sabi came up huge for Hobro in the second leg of the relegation playoff tie with a goal and an assist to save Hobro for now from relegation. He scored the tie-winning goal in the 104th minute when he was able to get away from his defender and head the ball down with authority.
Go on, Emmanuel Sabi.
Go on with authority.
Go on.
Yeah.
So thank you for the scouting reports, Colin, Andrew, Alan, Zach, and Nick. If you'd like to join the Scouting Network, it's totalsoccershow.com/join.
True.
Don't you start again. If you'd like to find, I don't know if you know about this, if you'd like to find all our Women's World Cup previews in one place, totalsoccershow.com/WWC.
False.
True. I've compiled a page, just put a list of all the previews in one place. If you want to share it with someone who maybe doesn't listen to podcasts but is thinking about listening to some to preview the Women's World Cup, totalsoccershow.com/WWC would be a great link to share with them.
All right. Anything else to add before we sign off for the day?
Just thank you, Taylor Rockwell, for taking the time to talk to me today.
Right back at you, buddy, even if I'm not sure you entirely mean that.
I 90% mean it. Listeners, thank you for listening.
False?
I 100% mean that. We will talk to you again tomorrow. You gotta slice it.